Stay tuned, Fishing Ventures is next. This week, Ronnie and the crew fish Lake Elsinore, catching quality cats, bass, and more. The Lake Elsinore success story continues. For over a decade, the city of Lake Elsinore and the local water districts have worked together, making Lake Elsinore a favorite destination for water sports, recreation, and outstanding fishing. Check out the ribbon cutting at Elsinore's new, huge launch facility. Stay with us for rod bending action and outstanding tackle tips that make you one of the 10% that catches 90% of the fish. It's Big Fish and More at Lake Elsinore, next on Fishing Ventures. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Big Fish and More at Lake Elsinore. Before we really get into the fishing highlights, Lake Elsinore celebrates the grand opening of the Laguna Resort and Boat Launch.
La Laguna Resort and Boat Launch is another important step in our Dream Extreme to move the city forward as one of the premier locations in Southern California for outdoor play. This launch will provide year-round access to the lake, and when folks are tired of playing on the lake, guess what? They can go to baseball, they can jump out of a perfectly good airplane, they can go for a round of golf, they can go to the casino, or they can go shopping. So we have it all here in Lake Elsinore.
Now here is Pat Kilroy on Lake Elsinore's continued success.
Pat, I've been fishing this lake for over 3 decades. And this isn't the Lake Elsinore I grew up on, or the Lake Elsinore I guided on as a professional bass guide. This lake now is a real superstructure as far as an inland waterway goes.
Well, you know, the city's probably put in about $65 million over the last 15 years with construction of the earthen levee system. It's 3.5 miles long. We cut the lake in half. We diverted the natural water flow into the main body of the lake so we can maintain water levels. The city and the water district, Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, spend $1.3 million a year adding supplemental water to the lake. So water quantity and quality go hand in hand on this lake.
Folks, Pat is a bass fisherman also. I mean, you take it from him as a biologist and the guy that's really kind of overseeing a lot of the fishery here. They've got largemouth bass. They've got big crappie. They've got, double-digit catfish. And then, of course, these wipers, which is a hybrid between a white bass, a panfish, and a striped bass, which can reach short side of 20 pounds. Lake Elsinore, I'm going to tell you something right now. If you want to dream extreme when it comes to fishing, get down here. It's not the old Elsinore you grew up with. This is the new Lake Elsinore. Pat, just before the launch ramp was opened here, you guys put in 7,000 largemouth bass. Wow.
That's right. So that's an unusual stocking. Most people stock trout. We stock largemouth bass.
I like that.
They're the lion of fish, and that's what most fishermen in this area want to catch. They had different size classes. About 700 were catchable immediately, and that was early April. A huge volume, I think it was about 2,000, were 10 to 12 inches in length. So they'll be catchable right here in August. And I think in August, they're just going to hit like crazy in the sticks.
Those are 1.5-pound fish. So Lake Elsinore, trust me, folks, it really is not only an underrated, but it's potentially a world-class largemouth bass fishery.
You're watching Ronnie Kovach's Fishing Ventures, Big Fish and More at Lake Elsinore. Stay with us as we show fishing highlights from 2009 to July 2012, loaded with big fish and tackle tips that you don't want to miss.
He's still on there.
Yeah.
Don't feel him.
Might be better than you think.
That's the ticket right there. What'd you get him on, George?
Roadrunner. Chartreuse Roadrunner. Funny stuff now.
Is he in a weed?
No, he's like a catfish.
Oh.
We use the 8-foot rod with 6 pound. Sometimes need to get out of harm's way.
Yeah, that's a pretty
That one.
catfish. Yeah,
That's a fat one.
that's nice. All right, that's beautiful. Thanks, Ron. Yep. There we go.
Oh, that's a good large one.
Yeah.
Jim, actually, let's get it.
These are just chunks.
They're little fat guys, aren't they? Little footballs.
Hold them up real high like this, Jim. There you go. Right on.
Yeah, there he is.
There you go, Derek.
Okay.
Nice.
Where'd he go? Of course. Did he get up here?
No, okay, now here he comes. Here he comes.
Put him in the well.
Barely skin hook. Oh gosh. Oh no.
That's a nice 3+ large.
Put him in here. That's the ticket right there. All right. Good job. You're watching Fishing Ventures. Lake Elsinore is a short drive from LA, San Diego, and local mountains for a long list of fun.
On this part of the dike down here at the south end of the lake, what you have is all this fill that was built up to create the dike. And because the lower elevation of the lake several years back, there's been erosion. We have a traditional westerly wind that comes off the ocean every afternoon. And what it's done is it eroded the soil that had been here, and now it's exposed these rocks down to maybe, say, 3 or 4 feet. So we're casting in close to the bank, and it looks like the fish are either feeding or they're somewhat residual part of the whole nesting process. I'm not 100% sure exactly what they're doing, but they seem to be eating and not just merely picking at the bait.
There's a crappie. Good catch, George.
All right, George. Wow. Way to go.
Here he comes. Here we go.
All right. Excellent.
I'll go real old school, folks. This is called line feeling, San Diego style. Developed down there in the San Diego City lakes, but it's going to work good here at Elsinore, I guarantee it. And what I'll do is I'll just stitch the line through my fingers like this. So I slow down my retrieve about as slow as you can, and then pick up the slack. It's almost like I said, it's called stitching the bait or line feeling. And the minute you feel the fish pick up the bait, drop the line, wind up the slack, and then set the hook. It is the ultimate slow down technique. It's a nice fish. Now that's what we're talking about here at Lake Elsinore. Tell me Lake Elsinore isn't back, baby. It's back. It's hot. It's bassing with Ronnie Kovach and Fishing Ventures. Here he comes.
Do you want to net them or anything, or just?
I can get the net out, but it'll just be something else in the way.
Gotcha. It is.
Big guy, it's like 8 pounds, 9 pounds.
That's big.
Big wiper.
I didn't think they'd be that big.
Yeah, they're 12 pounds.
Yeah, this one's close to lake record size.
Whoa. Look at that. I gotta get better hang on it there. Bigger than our usual. That is a big wiper.
Roadrunners are pretty darn effective here. I've been using the Roadrunner for a lot of years now, about 2, and they keep catching me fish.
Hey,
You bet. Hey, I'm glad I caught it here at Lake Elsinore.
Welcome to Ronnie Kovach's tackle shop here at Lake Elsinore. I want to fish a light line, good abrasion resistance that's practically invisible with little tiny baits like the little Roadrunners, the little underspins, primarily targeting largemouth bass, crappie, and these big wipers. Spinning tackle, 4-0 clear line by P-line. I'll be split shotting, down shotting, Carolina rigging, I'll be Texas rigging, and even line feeling today, using again ultra sharp owner hooks, drop shot sinkers, and of course I'm going to be fishing now the CX Premium P-line because I want that foam green color to match the green water here at Elsinore. Plus I want the high abrasion resistance because you're going to see a lot of stick-ups, a lot of brush, a lot of riprap, a lot of rock piles, a lot of trees, things that those little bassies love to hide into. I may throw some pig and jig, and here again I'm moving up to that 10, 12 pound test line in that CX Premium P-line to fish things like pig and jig where these fish are going to be feeding on crawdads. It's real simple. Try most all the things that you grew up with as far as traditional bass fishing goes, but remember this is a shallow water lake all year round, and these largemouth bass, these wipers, these crappie, and these big channel cat will tear these lures up. So buckle up because they're on the chew at Lake Elsinore with Ronnie Kovach and Fishing Ventures.
Ah, I'm a pig. Old school. Nice. There's your Lake Elsinore bass fishing, baby. Elsinore is back. Good gut.
all right, George, wow, way to go.
Roadrunner scores again.
If you're just joining us, you're watching Fishing Ventures, Big Fish and More at Lake Elsinore. Stay with us as Kenny from Bass Knuckle Clothing swings on the big cats and much more at Lake Elsinore.
Good. That might be a white. It's going out like this. It's a grande carp. Yeah. I don't care what pulls. Hold it. What color is that? It's like a purple, a little yellowish. It's got tail. You see the tail on it? Yeah, heads up. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
He's about the same size, looks like.
Yeah, that's
He's a little
cool.
smaller. I'm gonna have to get the net out and tap it.
All right. That's way out there. That's the shot right there.
So we're at the east end of Lake Elsinore, and we have a bunch of fish that are pinning the shad right up against the shore, and we're fishing about 2 to 3 feet of water right up on the shore, throwing these spinner baits, nice small spinner baits, and we have a pretty good bite on channel catfish going on right now, and they're just coming right up and eating them. So we're going to see how many more we can put on the boat. It's like a purple or yellowish. Yeah, it's got tail. You see the tail on it? Yeah, heads up. Not making a huge one.
It's a big cat. Giant cat.
Ah, bass knuckles at work. That's well over 10.
That's it right there. You're watching Fishing Ventures. Ronnie and the crew joined William Johnson and his son Nicholas fishing aboard their pontoon boat, courtesy of William Johnson's bait, tackle, and boat rentals located at Lake Elsinore's Marina and RV Resort.
My name is William Johnson, owner of William's Bait, Tackle, and Boat Rentals, located at Lake Elsinore, California. Being visited today by Fishing Ventures. We've been out on the lake today. A couple cats, a couple bass. We have a full-on bait and tackle shop. Anything you need, rod rentals, boat, 14-foot aluminum skiffs, 18, 22, and 24-foot pontoon boats available. So if you go out fishing or enjoy yourself on a day on the lake. It's a great lake. They've cleaned the lake up tremendously. It's getting a lot of notoriety, as you can see. We got special guests like Ronnie Kovach out here supporting us, so that says a lot. So come on out and enjoy yourself here at Lake Elsinore.
I'm putting on some bite on this swim bait. It's bass attractant. So it gives the scent of a shad to the swim bait, so the fish will be more attracted to it.
And just take your
Little
time.
bass.
Just kind of take your time.
All right, let's see go. On the small bass here. Stop here. There you go. Got it. Got it.
Follow your fish.
Come
on.
There we go. All right.
Follow your fish. Don't gill down. Tip up. Let them.
Dad, as soon as like 5 seconds after we hit the water.
You got him on the corner.
I want to stay here. Woo! There we go. Yep, that's a bass. No, that's a bass.
Little dinker dog.
We're doing a different type of sight fishing today with William and Nick. And really what we're doing is we're sight fishing for the bait. We're looking for where the schools of bait are. This is what we're seeing with our Typhoon sunglasses. And that polarization is really actually helping us to see through the water to spot these small schools of threadfin shad. Then we'll throw our dead shad on top of the live shad into that school, and that's where we're getting these bigger catfish, right on those schools of shad. So the whole key is that we've got to be able to see through the water with good polarization, and that's where these typhoons come in.
Well, we're just letting it sit there, maybe a little pop here and there, and we're catching these bluegill right off the sticks. There he is. That's a nice bluegill.
Kim, obviously the lake is the largest natural lake in all of Southern California with over 3,000 acres, and you know, for us, of course, it means fishing, and more fishing year-round. But there's a lot more to do on the water than that, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a high-speed zone here, so you actually can go 150 miles an hour out in the center of the lake. Of course, non-weekends and non-holidays, so we want to keep safe. But you have other people, they're jet skiing, water skiing, wakeboarding, so it is a complete recreational water sport, water contact kind of place.
So with that 250, 275, and 300 horsepower engine on your 20-foot bass boat, did you ever wonder where locally you could actually crank it up and blow it out? right here at Lake Elsinore. They'll allow you to do it legally and safely. You get to really dream extreme then.
Well, as this episode comes to an end, Ronnie and the crew want to thank Holiday Inn Express and Suites for a good night's rest. Kick back, relax, stay refreshed, stay you. And William Johnson of Williams Bait, Tackle, and Boat Rentals, the best one-stop shop at Lake Elsinore. Make Lake Elsinore one of your recreation destinations today and dream extreme.